Hi, my name is Dawn Jones, and I am the Communications Director for the City of Stillwater. Thank you for tuning in to our Vodcast. My co-host is Melissa Reams.
Hello, everybody.
Our Deputy City Manager, and also joining us is our producer, Michelle Charles, and our videographer, Eric Moreau, who you can't see. He's behind the camera. And then our special guest today is Craig Buchanan with IT, and we are going to talk all things cyber safety.
Oh my gosh, what a topic. Because it just feels every day, every minute of every day that we're under attack, Craig. And it's not just government. It's us individually at home. And so I'm hoping you can give us some tips and tricks. I think the biggest thing I've learned from our IT department is to look at the email address. And if it looks weird or suspicious, don't click on it. Don't do anything like that, you know? And generally, if it's work related, I'll forward to Craig and say, is this legit?
Wait, so you're telling me they don't want to deposit $1 million into my checking account?
They did not win.
Are you serious?
That is sad. That's the thing, yeah. I haven't found any of those that were legit yet. But you're exactly right. And like you say, it's not just businesses and
It's individuals.
they go after everyone.
Yeah.
They don't care who you are to a large degree because what they want is that payday. So, you know, there's entities out there that are like businesses. And what they do is they just collect all the email addresses they can find, and then you can pay them, you know, a couple of $100, and then they'll take something off the top, and then they'll send out like 1 million emails on your behalf and do all that. All they've got to get is, you know, maybe 1% of the people. Right. That's still a pretty good payout on a $35. If you don't pay your $35 now, I'm going to cancel your Netflix.
Right. Exactly. I was trying to remember. Oh, Chris and my husband and I keep getting things from that look like they're coming from Citibank. And I'm like, you don't have a Citibank card.
Right.
So if you don't stop and think,
Right.
you could potentially lose some money, you know, or compromise your whole personal system.
Right. And so like that would be an example where they've just gone out there and they've just bought a bunch of email addresses. A lot of the groups are now taking it the next level. So I say they've got like these big companies out there, these criminal organizations. So what they've done is they've bought marketing databases. The same marketing databases that Amazon and Google and everyone else uses and sells to all their marketing people. They've bought those. So now they know you, at least digitally. So they know that you go to this bank or that bank. So now they can order up those emails that are tailored to you. So
that's not comforting at all.
No, it's kind of like that commercial, isn't it? I love your browser history and all of that good stuff. That's kind of creepy, but they're watching us. Whoever they is, they're watching us.
Right. Yeah. And you're right. And there's several different days, you know, so you've got the nation state actors out there, you know, all the Russias, China, Korea, Iran, we see a lot of, you know, those places. And what they're doing is they're doing it to raise money. So they don't even necessarily care if they're getting into a critical system. They're raising money to fund other operations. And then you got like I say, the criminal groups out there. And then we still have the people that we've always had. And that's what I kind of call, what a lot of people call the script kiddies, those people that just buy these things. They don't really know how they work. They don't care. They're just buying it to play with it, do these things.
Yeah.
You know?
Just because we can.
Exactly. You know?
Yeah.
So what are some general safety practices? Some good rules of thumb with our email, our phone, just all of the cyber safety.
And the passwords.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a numbers person. Norman laughed at me the other day and he said, leave it to an accountant to put numbers in her password.
True.
Yes.
You know, I like them, but not everybody does.
Sometimes we're required to do that.
We are. And I've got a certain set of numbers that only mean anything to me.
Yeah.
You know.
And
it's not my birthday, and it's not my social security number.
Good point. Good to know. But you hit on a really good point. And what I tell all the new employees, what I tell people when they are asking me about this kind of stuff is find a phrase that means something to you so that it's easy to remember. And if it is an actual phrase with proper capitalization, punctuation, spaces, that's going to then make it hard for somebody else to guess or a computer to guess. Speaking about numbers, if you get over about 12 or 13 characters, you're up to like 10,000 years for the average supercomputer to calculate your password. And that's why we often tell people, you need over 12 characters. So the more characters you get, the longer it would take. And if you've got all those complexities in there, numbers and
caps
and
special
characters, then it's going to be next to impossible because it's got to try the entire keyboard to be able to get that one thing. So, like I tell people, pick a poem,
That's a good idea.
A religious passage, an inspirational, like motivational passage, something that means something to you, but, is going to be easier for you to remember. And then have something different for every place you go. That's the hard part with a lot of people.
Right.
Because I know I probably have 30, 40 passwords that I've got to keep track of. And so I personally use a password management app. It's a little app on my phone that I can keep all of those. That way it's not written down someplace that I could lose or somebody else could find.
And you protect your phone, right? You password or whatever.
Exactly.
Protect
so
your
you
phone.
Have your phone with a good passcode and or biometrics. Ideally, you want both.
Really?
So two things to get in. And then that's the other side of that. It's like your email accounts and your bank accounts and all this stuff is go beyond a password and set up what they call multi-factor. So that does like your password, username and password, plus like a code that you put in, or something you hit on your phone. Like, a lot of times they'll have like a little thing come up that says, "Is this you?" And yes.
And we're seeing more and more of that, aren't we, Craig? What we call two-factor identification.
Yeah. CISA,
authentication.
Right. CISA, the Cybersecurity Information Security Agency, that's one of their big pushes for this year is to get every government and public agency out there using dual factor, and they recommend it for everyone because it adds that second thing. So if somebody gets your password, they've also got to get your phone or whatever you're using for that.
Right. Exactly.
Well, and it can be sometimes we get in a hurry. Maybe just a little bit. Our society.
Sounds a confession,
right? Maybe you might know me.
True confessions.
So and so that double, two-factor identification logging in, it can be like, oh my goodness. But at the end of the day, it is far less frustrating to take the extra time to do that than it is to deal with identity theft or people breaking into your system and stealing information. Yeah. So it's definitely worth that additional 2-3 seconds to type it in.
Like the Colonial Pipeline, incident was a really good example. Basically shut down the East Coast for 2 or 3 days. That happened because the bad guys got on one of those lists of things out there, and one of those things that are out there, all your passwords. They got an employee's username and password and just tried it, and it worked. Well, if the person had two-factor, then that wouldn't have worked. They would have never been able to pull off that particular attack.
That's right.
Yeah. It's funny because as we're looking at these things both individually and as a business, that cost factor is there.
Right.
But is our security, is there ever a dollar or dollar value that's not, the cost benefit is where I'm trying to go. I know I'm stumbling over my words, but they're expensive things, some of them. Right. And yet I think the being able to sleep at night, the peace of mind is priceless, really.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But, the bad guys will put price on it. So if you're a business
absolutely.
Government, they'll go out and do that research to find out how much you're worth. And if they ransom, they basically, if they go in and digitally lock all your files so you don't have access to them, they will then turn around and they will budget their ransom on how much you're worth.
So they do that even
accountants as well. So
so they do that to individuals as well as businesses.
If you're the right individual. Me, they're probably gonna say, well, I need to pay that guy money. But somebody that's very wealthy, they will. Yeah. And so you see that a lot with like retirement scams. So they will people that have recently retired and hey, they've just got this $1 million 401k sitting out there. and they will continue to work that person
Right.
until they drain that entire 401k.
Oh, yikes.
Wow. That is horrible.
And you talk about social engineering,
Yeah.
and that happens at all levels, doesn't
does,
it?
yeah.
It's them getting to know us and know what our push points are,
Right.
and then exploiting that.
Yeah, and having all that marketing data, that helps that.
Yeah.
But what they discovered was, people are getting better at doing things like locking your phone, running password managers so that you've got your passwords taken care of, and then doing the things like firewalls on both your company networks and on your personal, because now most of the big internet service providers offer that kind of service. And so they've discovered that it's easier to get in through the people than through the technology. And
Yeah.
so that's why the social engineering has become such a big vector. I think something like, you were mentioning email, I want to say that something around the 80% of all business intrusions that happened in 2021, which is the last year we got really good data for, happened through email as the vector that they got into those systems.
And I just wonder, you would know this way more than me, obviously, is a lot of, so many were working from home
Right.
with COVID and all of the health crisis that was definitely going on at that time, more so than now. And so many were working from home, and so they were accessing their emails there and on home servers and home systems, and not always the most secure
Right.
compared to at the office.
Right. That's one of our challenges, as a business, because the city's at the end of the day is a business. So when you have people working from home, you've got to extend that protection layer out to those other computers. So if you've got a business out there, that's what you really need to be doing. You need to be ensuring that your employees have good virus protection and have firewalls, and that they're only getting into your network off of a system that's set aside just for that purpose, and all those good cyber practices. We talk in the cybersecurity world a lot about just doing the basic blocking and tackling, to use the football metaphor, but honestly, just doing all of the basic things that we probably actually know and just don't think about doing saves most entities, whether it be a person or a business or a government.
That's right. Yes. And you guys do so many great things, our IT department. So I definitely want to make it very clear that you guys go above and beyond to safeguard the information, because we are a service here. We provide many services through the city, and we want our customers and our residents to know that their information is being double, triple, quadruple safety protected through our IT department.
And because you've been through it, but every new hire I get in front of and I say, our job as city employees at the end of the day is to go home with us and our citizens safe, and with us and our citizens' data secure, because if you're safe and secure, all the other things are going to work out.
Right.
At the end of the day, if you can sleep a lot easier, like you said, if you're not worried about, is my banking information is available because the city got breached, or, are my streets safe to drive on, all of that stuff leads to a lot better overall quality of life for everyone.
Right. And that ties back into, we just got done doing a video cast with Chief Watts, and we were talking about a safe community. And I think a lot of that is, we think police, but cyber too.
Yeah.
And are we a safe community cyber wise as well?
Right, because it's all one big family, at the end of the day. I work with a lot of different groups out there to help secure businesses and schools and the people that do all that stuff with them, because exactly, it's all about the quality of life. And nowadays, our safety and security includes our
cyber life.
Yep.
Well, and let's be honest, our main method of communication today is technology in some form or fashion, whether it is social media on our cell phones, on whether we're on a website or we're emailing, technology based in all things that we do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where the world is these days.
It is.
So we've got to watch our passwords,
Yep.
make sure we log out
Yes. And that's another thing I tell city employees when the new hire training, if you can turn off your computer, because a computer that's turned off, they can't hack, and so if you've only got your computer on when you're sitting at it, well, then hopefully you're going to notice that something's going on now. Sometimes it may be too quick, but you got a lot better chance than if you're asleep and your computer's sitting there and they've got all night to work on.
Right. I swear, I think my electric toothbrush is because it blinks at night. I don't think it has Bluetooth, but and then
But you bring up actually a really good point. In our modern world, you've got all of those other things that are connected to the internet you don't even think about.
right, Siri,
Your refrigerator.
Yeah.
yes,
good point.
yes.
Appliances now, like you say, your Amazon, Alexa, your Google.
Alexa, not Siri.
Well, Siri's
Alexa.
Apple's product.
Right.
Samsung has their own Bixby. So
Bixby.
all these companies out there have these robots that are working for you, but they could be
Work against us.
exactly be made to work.
And so how do you, I'm thinking about all these little things we have in our house. How do we protect, we protect the computer, but how do you protect Alexa so she doesn't poison you? And
Right. So with a lot of that, like smart home stuff, with a lot of that kind of thing, it really comes down to having good perimeter protection. So I mentioned those firewalls earlier. This is a device that you can either buy or you can get from your internet service provider that sits between your network and the internet and filters a lot of that traffic. And the really good ones do like the city does. We subscribe to lists. And if somebody in Great Britain is getting attacked with something, well, they let our partners know, who then give us that list of things, and we can add that to our list of things we block.
so that's kind of how you try to stay, maybe not one step ahead of the bad actors, but you're at least not two steps behind.
Exactly. It's information sharing is a big part of my job, working with all of my partners in like Oklahoma, but then also with the bigger ones. And, the way you can do that in your personal life is through these, bigger services. So, get a reputable firewall from a major company.
So is that like a McAfee?
Okay, well, that'd be like your antivirus. I think they do now have firewalls.
Oh, so firewall is different than antivirus.
But sometimes, if dependent upon who your service provider is, you can purchase additional protection through
Right.
them with firewalls and
Yeah,
stuff. I get notifications. You'll be proud of me. I think I definitely have one at home, and so I get notifications that they prevented something that was unsafe, and so I get those on my phone, and so it is
Is there
comforting.
a way to prevent it on your phone?
Thank you.
Because I feel like I'm getting questionable text messages too.
The text messages become a little bit more difficult. Places AT&T, I think, has offered now a service where they can block. I think Verizon.
AT&T is who I have, and
Okay.
they
It's a
are
paid
very thorough.
service,
Yes.
and so you can mark it as spam, and then hopefully you won't. Basically, they will promise not to get it to you again. The guys are probably going to find some other way around
Yeah.
it. But, so those type of things can definitely help. But yeah, you're right. They've really upped the attacks on your.
So for me, I don't think I'm giving anything away, but if it's not somebody I recognize, I go in and block the number.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Which I also have an Airbnb, which makes that difficult.
That does make it different.
Like today, I
Yikes.
had a message from my guests, and I just about didn't take it.
Block.
I'm like, I've got guests. Why don't I go ahead and take this just in case? And it was a good thing because it was them.
Yeah, yeah.
But and that's what they're gambling on, is that our lives are so chaotic that we don't know, and so we're going to take the call, we're going to get the text.
I don't typically answer the ones that say scam likely. I'm like,
Speaking of the
maybe not.
services that are offered
Right.
by big
Yeah.
companies.
yeah. Well, there's so much great information, Craig. Thank you for joining us. And
problem.
ladies, we are going to have him back. I mean,
Yeah,
this is-
absolutely. There's a lot.
Anytime.
we keep wanting to talk with our guests more and more, so we're just going to keep bringing them back. There's so many
Just
things.
rotate them.
Yes, absolutely. We never can be too safe. And thank you for all of the tips and advice that you constantly give us as employees and our residents and community members. And we just appreciate all the work that you and the entire IT department do.
Absolutely. We wouldn't want to live without you.
Well, and I appreciate the opportunity. The IT department as a whole, we're always glad to get out there and share some of our
Absolutely.
information. And
Okay, well, you definitely have to come back.
Yep.
And they put up with a lot of dumb phone calls from me,
They
too.
sure do.
I was about to say.
And emails. Is this legit?
Yeah.
That's what
I
we're
do.
here for.
Yeah, I do that too.
I do that.
Yes. Thank you so much.
No problem.
And thank you all for tuning in. And together we are investing in municipal excellence. Thanks again.